Ready? Play.
In the desert, and you're ahead of round two, I guess, in inning well. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really happy, feeling really good about everything that I'm doing. The last two practices I had were pretty good, and yeah, I had the last good 2 days off the court, so hopefully I can bring that momentum on the court.
All right, questions? Okay, go ahead.
Vogue magazine.
Yeah.
19. How exciting is that? And also being a publication like Vogue that exposes you, I think, to a lot more of a casual fan, like sort of an everyday person just going by the newsstands. How important do you think that is to tennis?
Yeah, I mean, first is incredible honor to be on the cover. Wasn't expecting that when I first found out about it, and yeah, it still hasn't like grasped me. I guess when I walk past and see myself, I guess that'll be cool. But I think it's really important, like, to bring more fans in the sport. I can't. With one thing I was actually talking about it the other day with Serena, it's just that how much of a presence she had off the court that kind of matched her presence on the court, and I think that's what brought more fans into tennis, and kind of paved the pathway for people like me to be on the cover.
Can you say something about the shoot? There's also a family photo of that.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that was at my house. We didn't have grass because we were just moving in, and yeah, that was a family portrait. They wanted that in the thing, and my brothers, happy that they complied and kind of got their act together and posed nice for the photo. And obviously, my mom and my dad, they don't mind being in pictures with me as well. But it was good to get everybody in it, and I like that they asked them to come in their sports uniforms. That's just what we are. We're a sports family, so it's really special.
Yeah, Rick?
Yeah, your game is so made for clay. It's almost clay season.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about your learning curve on the surface and when you really felt like you had it dialed in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like I had much of a learning curve, honestly, because like all my first championships, other than like the Grand Slams, have always been on clay. So yeah, I think it was for me just how to do better on other surfaces.
Question? Yeah, we'll go.
Hello, good, thanks.
You've been playing, still obviously a very young person, but you've been playing most of your life, playing our sport. And it's such a mental game that teaches us so many lessons. If you had to step back and say the one or two things that the sport of tennis has taught you as a person, what would that one or two things be?
I think for me, it's just that one bad moment doesn't last long. I mean, you lose a lot in the sport, but one bad week, the next week you can have an amazing week. So for me, it's just getting over losses and how to bounce back, and also trying to take the positives out of everything, because you play in a draw, whatever, 100 something people lose, only one wins. But that doesn't mean everybody in that draw was a failure. So sometimes it's trying to learn how to take the positives out of every situation, even though it's not the ideal situation.
And obviously you had a tough time saying the French final, but what if I could ask, what sort of has been one or two toughest losses you've had to bounce back?
Yeah, I think for me the toughest loss in my career so far was like Wimbledon first round last year. And that French Open final was tough too, but I don't think I was mentally mature enough to even win that match. I felt like I lost the match before I came on the court. So I think for me it was more so that Wimbledon final, or not final, first round. I wish it was final, first round. And again, goes back to the previous question. That was like probably one of the worst moments of my career so far. And then, a month or 2 months later, it was one of the best moments. So bad moments don't last long. Yes, it was.
Okay, Anita, Craig, and then Craig.
There's some new furniture in the gym on the lawn now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering how those kinds of changes affect player experience of the space, player community, things like that. What you think of it?
Yeah, I haven't actually went in that area yet, but I think the additions to the tournament, any additions is always great for us, and especially this tournament, There wasn't many places to kind of just sit when you're waiting a long time. So it was a nice addition, to the tournament, because in the first week the tables outside are all crowded. And then, the grass, sometimes, like today was hot. I tried to lay out there, it was hot. So it's nice to have additions. And I think it's just, makes the community better. People sit, and naturally if you're sitting next to someone, you're going to have a conversation with them.
Yeah, Chris.
Coco, how would you characterize your 2024 season so far? I know you said that winning a slam really shouldn't change anything for you, and it seems like it hasn't, but has it felt different at all? And have you lived up to your own expectations thus far?
Yeah, no, it hasn't felt different. I just kind of approached this year the same as last year, and that's just to win a slam. And yeah, just put that in the past. Really after US Open, I was already looking at Australian Open, to be honest, and I lost in the semifinals, but I felt like it was a positive tournament, even though immediately kind of felt disappointing. But I think I was in the stepward in the right direction. And obviously the Middle East wasn't like a great swing for me, but again, I'm trying to remind myself, just because you have a bad swing or a bad tournament doesn't define your year. And I think last year around this time I started off not as well as I did this year, and I kind of let that define my year. So I don't want to let a swing or a tournament define my year until the year is actually over.
All right, Craig, and we'll come back front row.
Coco, Carlos Alcaraz was talking about fame and attention just a little while ago.
Mm-hmm.
Now you've been on the cover of Time and the cover of Vogue. Does one mean more than the other, and how do you handle that sort of fame?
Yeah, I don't think one means more than the other for me, because it's two aspects of my life that I really care about, and Vogue being in the world of fashion and beauty, which is something I've always cared about, and Time focusing more on the off-court core issues of making the world a better place, which I think is also something I care about. So I guess in a way, when you put it in that perspective, then maybe Time is more influential because of the just the platform that Time has created to help uplift social activism and uplift causes that I deeply care about. So I don't know, it's hard to put one over the other, but being on the Woman of the Year list is something I never expected, and I guess neither was Vogue, so I don't know. But with the fame question and all of that, I don't, because if you ask me I'm famous, I'm going to say no, and I don't think that will ever change, because I just don't feel famous. I was at the Time Gala event last night, I walk into that room and I just don't feel famous. I feel like a regular person, and people approach me and I don't know, I feel like they think I'm some extraordinary being, and I'm not. I'm just a tennis player and a person who tries to uplift the people around her, and so many people in the world do that, not just famous people, also just regular humans in their community. So I don't think that makes me any different.
Yeah, fine.
Coco, do you think you needed that U.S. Open title to validate your place in the sport, or were you always going to be okay with who you were, even if you walked away with no slam titles at the end?
I think that goes to answer that question, and it goes to my personal growth. I think in the perfect world, if I was mature enough, then I would say, yeah, I would be okay walking away from the sport without winning a slam. But honestly, tennis is so much of my identity, which is something I'm trying to separate, that it did mean a lot to me. But also at the same time, I don't think it was important, yes, but also I have at least 10 more years left in this game. So if I didn't win, I have 10 more years to try to win one. So it was important in my place in the sport, but I'm not satisfied with stopping there, and I don't feel like I've made the mark that I want to make yet.
All right, last two will go here, and then Chris.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit about the Olympics? Where would that fit in your goals?
Oh, yeah, it's definitely the top two things I wanted to do this year was win a slam and medal at the Olympics, and I'm planning on playing all three events, so hopefully I can give my best self the best chance to do well in at least one of them.
All right, Chris, last question. Did you have your hand up there?
Cool. I was just curious when you're talking about how you handle fame and not feeling famous. When somebody comes up to you and looks all starstruck, how do you handle that? Do you have a standard way of doing that, or do you have something you want to impart to them when they come up to you like that?
Yeah, usually I'll just say I'm just a person like you. But also it's kind of stupid because when I see like people that I deeply look up to, I'm the same way. But I think for me, it's just I try to have a connection with the person. I very much like prefer to have a conversation with someone and take a photo than just like snap a picture, because I think you get more out of that. I mean, the picture is something that you show, but when I think about famous people that I've met, I think for me I talk about more the ones that even if it was just like a 10-second conversation more than one, I was just like, hey, let me get a pic, and then we don't ever speak again. So I try to connect with them if they are open to. Some people just want the picture and leave, and some people ask me a question or anything, and I don't mind talking. And usually most people that approach me, I always have tried, if they want a conversation, I don't mind doing that. And the only times that I say, oh, I have to go somewhere is when I like literally have to go to practice.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.